In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Nakamura Printing by Kleid Stationery Flat Notes notebook. I'll go over the specs, I'll do a paper test, and I'll tell you what I like and don't like about this notebook coming up. Blake here with Blake's Broadcast. On this channel, I review fountain pens, paper, and ink, and as always, I put links in the show notes in the description below. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps out my channel. Alright, let's get on with the review. Here we have the Nakamura Printing by Kleid or Kleid, not sure how you say it, stationery, the flat notes. So just looking at the packaging here, it comes in this plastic cover, and then we have the Kleid or Kleid by Nakamura, and then we have some specs here, 2mm grid, and this is the OK Fools paper, and then more specs here, and on the back we have some more information. This has a glued binding, which allows it to lay very, very flat, and it's also easy to remove pages or signatures out of this notebook. We have this nice little sticker here, which has some useful details. So, flat notes, A5, and then designed by Kleid or Kleid Japan, 50 sheets, so it's 100 pages. Their logo there. And interestingly, this cover sort of mirrors that 2mm grid, if you can kind of see it in the light. It's a pretty cool touch. I like that they did that. It's nice. And then up front here in gold foil, we have that Nakamura Printing by Kleid, and again, more of the specs. It looks pretty good. I like the aesthetics of this notebook a lot. And then again, we have a taped binding. So it goes extremely flat here. You can just see that this glue binding is very, very flat. Being glued, I don't believe that this is going to be as durable, but it's very nice to use because it is so flat. Now, supposedly you can remove pages from here pretty easily. I can try it. So, and the way that I think that you do that is the way that this binding works is the signature is actually just one sheet of paper folded instead of multiple sheets of paper folded. So I think if I go like this, it'll just come out. And it is coming out. Yeah, and it's just one sheet of paper here. So that's nice. You can see well, maybe you can't. Yeah, you can kind of see the watermark there, the laid paper. I believe this is the same paper, the same OK Fools paper that we saw in the book note by Watanabe Bookbinding. I'll put a link to that review up in the corner. Very pretty paper, very nice quality paper. I believe that the 2mm grid here is done in blue, or it might be green. My eyes say blue, but it's kind of hard to see because it is so very, very fine. And the paper is sort of a cream ivory color. So let's go to the paper test. There are no other features than that. In terms of price, this 100-page notebook is $12, which is, I think, a little bit expensive for this. It looks cool, but definitely on the pricey side. Also, I should point out that I believe this is the same binding style that we saw on the Kokuyo Per Pen App notebooks that I reviewed. I'll put a link to that up in the corner. They just lay very, very flat by using this glue instead of having more traditional stitched signatures. And they make the signatures much smaller. It's just one sheet of paper. So here, fountain pen performance, looking pretty similar to that book notebook that I reviewed. Same paper, really. We get a decent amount of resistance from the ink that they use on here, so probably not a water-based ink. And not really seeing too much in the way of feathering, maybe a little bit at the ends here on this pilot. We see quite a bit more on the Mont Blanc OBB nib, which is quite a bit more wet. We see a touch of it on the Sheaffer Legacy and none on the Lamy Safari Extra Fine. Now the rest of the pens look very good. I don't see any issues on the face. Now we go to the back, and we do see a good amount of bleed here from the Pilot and the Mont Blanc, and a bit from the Sheaffer. The Lamy Safari Extra Fine, though, was okay. The Safari, or not Safari, the Sharpie went through a decent amount. Copic went through even onto the other side. Same with the Staedtler Lumocolor permanent marker. Pilot oil drying pen bled through. Not as good performance either with the roller balls. The Uniball Air Micro bled a bit. Same with the Otto Fude ball and a bit on the Pentel Energel. The other ones look okay. Same paper performance we saw really from the book note. This does come in 4 colors for the cover. I do not believe it comes in anything other than 2mm grid, so you kind of have to like that. I have tried it a little bit. I don't dislike it. I think it's better than a blank notebook, but I don't find it that useful for writing. It's just a little bit too small. I don't know what the point is that they're using when they do the printing, but it must be like 0.01. It's very, very fine grid. If you guys like this kind of grid, or you think that you know what it's really useful for, I'd be curious to hear that. I mean, maybe some kind of, I don't know, engineering or math, I'm not sure. What are my pros and cons for the Nakamura Printing by Kleid Stationery Flat Notes notebook? The biggest pro for me is the aesthetics. I think that this notebook looks really nice. They really thought about the design. I like how the 2mm grid ruling is sort of reflected on the cover. Very nice, subtle detail. I like the gold foil print on the cover. It just looks nice. It has a nice feel. I also do like the glued binding. So it's not a stitch binding, but it goes incredibly flat. So in terms of lay flat ability, this is one of the best. Now, in terms of cons, you're getting only 50 sheets here, so 100 pages. It's $12, maybe a little bit expensive. The 2mm grid, I tried it as a curiosity. I do not really prefer it. I prefer it to blank. That's about it. I like the dot grids better. It just, 2mm is too small for me. The OK Fools paper on this, it's not the best performance. So even though it has a pretty watermark and it kind of has like a laid pattern to it, you get bleed with, I would say, anything from a medium and up. So, but if you like fine and extra fine, this is okay for that. But that is pretty much it. So, do you guys have this notebook? Do you like this notebook? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you like this video, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more fountain pen paper printing videos, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much, and until next time.